Hello and welcome to Wrestle Opinionated, our weekly show all about the great shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg. This is
Tiger fanboy Matt Strange, and this is
Muir, coming here once again to give my views.
all right, guys. Had a good week.
we've been playing Urtuk.
Yeah, we're mostly been
lots
playing
of Urtuk.
Yeah,
Is this some kind of old 16-bit strategy game by any chance?
not a
No,
cult.
better than that. It's a new, 16-bit retro apocalyptic fantasy battle chess tactical art. The typical sort of shit we play in the typical sort of setting we love.
Old man video games.
Old man video game, £15 on Steam to run on my new PC. How have you been doing, Morg?
I have spent a morning uploading videos to YouTube because our YouTube problem has solved itself and we can now again upload to YouTube. So hopefully people who used to like listening to us on YouTube will be able to.
Hooray!
At last, fame will come.
Well, like, share, subscribe will mean something now. So
yeah, mate, when I do my 14-year-old.
News. Mr. Strange, has there been any news?
Oof. So, yeah, there is news. And once again, in the continuing trend of the last few weeks, everything is terrible. But in this case, it's terrible, but good that it's coming to light. There has been a huge release of women and men coming for mostly women, obviously coming forward, speaking about a bunch of sexual assaults and emotional abuse and such like within the wrestling world on Twitter under the hashtag speaking out. Number of various wrestlers on the indie scene and in various promotions have been accused or have at least come forward to admit it, including my own personal wrestling trainer, would you believe? I only mention this because, well, obviously I should mention this anyway. It's an important thing, but there has been an allegation and a response from a member of the AEW crew talent, which is Jimmy Havoc, who has been accused and, well, there has been the response of various levels of emotional, physical, and possibly sexual abuse linked to his variety of substance abuse problems and probably some mental health issues. AEW responded they're going to send him to rehab and therapy to deal with this and will address his status with the company at the end of that. A lot of people are upset about this because, why should you help a terrible person? But on the other hand, if you can make a terrible person a better person, it doesn't excuse anything, it doesn't justify anything, but it does make him a little bit safer to put back into the world. Yeah, that's about it, I'm afraid, boys. So hopefully everybody who has been a terrible person gets their comeuppance and never work in the world again, and if it's due to issues, hopefully they get the help but are still punished / treated appropriately.
Yeah, it's not been a good week. So hopefully something a little bit more light-hearted and cheery. Mr. Muir, do you have a social media of the week for us?
Social media of the week for myself was, I really enjoyed this. It gave a bit of a look into the outside of Jericho and what else he does in his life. Was a What Culture Wrestling interview that they had with him. It starts off with him just going on about how COVID and all the issues that have been going on currently has affected his band, and then how he's formed a band over the internet, basically. And he loves covering, yes, and he loves covering Kiss songs, apparently.
80s Kiss songs.
80s Kiss songs, sorry, yes. It has to be 80s, not 70s, apparently. And
legend.
Then it moves on to him discussing how much he enjoys the creative freedom and who he would want most out of the WWE locker room, which is quite an interesting one, which was Roman Reigns.
Yeah, fair.
Which adds on to the theory that if they just left Roman Reigns be himself, he would be the biggest overstar possible, but they don't seem to want that. But yeah, it's a good laugh, and I recommend watching it.
I'll have to have a poke. It's been a busy weekend for me.
Yeah,
I'll put that on my to-do list.
I've watched it. It is really good. It was interesting hearing the bits of creative that he got to do and things he got to do. Roman Reigns to AEW. Yeah, I think you're right, Mr. Muir. I think that's exactly the truth. If WWE hadn't pushed him down the throats and had this is the one guy.
This is our golden god, please worship him, instead of just letting him build naturally.
Yeah, because he got himself over naturally originally in the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
The one when he broke Kane's record. So they'd already set him to break Kane's record, and the crowd were really into him.
But
welcome to our WWE podcast. I'll be your host, Dirk Manmeat.
So, moving on from social media, it's that time of the week when we review this week's AEW shows. So, starting off...
We're not missing anything, Morg. We're not missing anything.
Oh,
nothing at all.
No, nothing at all. But before we do that, this might be your first episode. I've even got exclamations written after it in my
No, mate,
notes.
I was looking at it going, is he going to get it this time?
He's going to say it.
So this might be your first time that you've listened to our podcast, and as such, you would need to know that we review the show Dark and each individual match in Dynamite and some of the promos. We have a tier list, and that tier list will now be explained to you by Mr. Strange, and I don't know how he's going to explain it this week.
Obviously, I've gone for that favourite subject of mine, PlayStation 1 and 2 survival horror computer games, to explain our tier list. So, tier list, gaining some popularity amongst YouTubers and a variety of sites. Many of you may know it from Japanese computer games, some of which are featured in this tier list, shockingly. It actually comes from the school system in Japan, which is similar to our own school system. And we work through grades. So a C match, a C horror match, a C match is something where I've got enough wrestling and enough story, or maybe really good wrestling and no good story, or really good story and the wrestling's all right. It's what I like to call an average match, but it has to be good. You know, if I'm just sort of sat there playing on my phone, that's not a good match. I want to be like involved. And then for me, that survival horror game, I think we have to go with the original classic that set the standard on survival horrors. It's Resident Evil, the first one. Mostly for the hilarious voice acting. We only go down one rank. I can't be bothered with Fs and Zs and such like. So the lowest rank match I'll give is a D. That's a match where I'm just not happy. We've all seen them. D matches. Just, you're bored. The wrestling's bad. Maybe the wrestling's good, but the story's shit. Maybe you just don't care. And that is the Alone in the Dark remake. It was fucking awful. The one with the cars where you drove around a park. I hated it. It's the only computer game I have ever owned that I have not completed. So yeah, D for when you don't care. Moving up from C, you get a B. Obviously, this is a better match. This is one where you don't look at your phone at all. You're really happily engaged. Maybe the story's exceptional. Maybe the wrestling's exceptional. Maybe it's just really, really good all round. And for me, that's Resident Evil 2, a game I played so much that I completed it as a block of tofu. It does everything you want and doesn't have quite as bad voice acting as Resident Evil 1. An A match is typically where I sort of draw my line. I'm very rare on the A's. An A match is that golden match, that match where you're like, fuck, this is wicked. Everything's come together. Story, it makes sense. The wrestling's phenomenal. Everything is great. That is an A match for me, as represented by the computer game Project Zero, known to Fatal Frame to our non-British friends. A terrifying Japanese horror game that was mostly in black and white and legit gave me nightmares as a child. And moving into S rank. S rank are those golden matches that only happen every now and then. Those ones that go down in history. Those ones that I go, I'm going to remember this all of my life. The ones where the story is accumulation of massive storytelling, where the actual wrestling is wonderful, and there is no S-rank survival horror game other than Silent Hill 2. And if either of you two are into survival horror games, you know that's true. So that's our tier list for today. I hope you're ready to hear me shout Resident Evil 2 a bunch.
That's actually quite interesting, because Silent Hill 1 was the game that got me into playing survival horror games.
I couldn't fit it on with all the others because I thought Silent Hill 1 was probably up there as an A, whereas Silent Hill 2 is the S, but I didn't want to have two Silent Hills at the top, and Project Zero was fucking immense.
I never played Silent Hill 2.
What?
I never got round to it.
Morg, there's a high-def release somewhere. Just fucking play it. It's
Stop
awesome.
this podcast now and go play it, mate.
Right.
Come back later.
So, starting off the week as usual, BTE being the elite. What did you guys think of being the elite this week?
I had a real good time with it, in all honesty.
Yeah, I've actually got notes. I've got notes that I remember that I did at the start of the week as opposed to a rewatch this morning. Ruth hated Michael Nakazawa's bleeding bottom, but it made me lol. Laugh.
The queue was brilliant, and then Matt cutting himself to get through the queue again every time. It still gets me.
I really enjoyed Christopher Daniels' basic, because last week I was like, he did talk about his bum for a long time, like,
Mate.
And then ripping it, because Kaz did the wanker hand action. I was
Yes,
like,
he did.
pretty, and he's done it before. And Ruth's like, he can't know the wanker action. He's American. I'm like, I'm sure they still have the wanker hand action in America. Surely, unless he's caught it from us. And it rolled
caught it from English wrestlers, I'd imagine so. Well, British, but you know.
Then it rolled into terms of the inside, and I like that one. Kenny being scared of anybody who's any non-wrestler brings me great joy. The Kenny's a pussy stuff is just great.
The can anyone here kick my ass bit when he's in the fetal position on the floor was just beautiful.
Spanglish, I'm enjoying. Ruth likes it more and was properly laughing, but she's a linguists person who knows Spanish and a variety of Latin and Greek-based languages. So she was properly laughing, and I quite enjoy seeing Ortiz as the friendly dad type he actually seems to be. And I forget what Hangman did at the end. Apparently I didn't like it that much.
The bit where the best friends threw down a smoke bomb and ran away because they didn't have an idea was my favourite bit.
Smoke bomb! I can't be the one to always bring up the best friends or I'll get called more of a boy.
So Hangman was with the private party, your segments being cut. People didn't like your segment or you're being cut, which was... It was okay, but it was just a bit too... I find Private Party a bit too over the top in being the elite.
Yeah, they're. I think they're probably just very excited.
I think
they're really young.
I think it's the issue of youth and being super keen on wanting to show off their thing, but then it's becoming a bit too far, if you know what I mean. They haven't got the expertise of balancing the silly with the keeping the story going sort of thing.
Yeah. I want to give a special shout out this week to, and we've shouted it out before, but I want to give a special shout out to Sammy's vlog. This week's one is fucking hilarious.
Griff.
It is just absolutely. In fact, I am starting to think that maybe we should move this in. I know it's not official AEW, but we should possibly move it into our weekly review. But it's absolutely brilliant. And the Pimp My Scooter, Pimp My Ride. The only small criticism I had of it was, and I used to watch Pimp My Ride all the time. I know nothing about cars or anything, but I used to fucking
watch it for exhibit.
Yeah. And also, for the one guy, he always used to say, and we hooked you up with. And that was the only thing that was missing, was that Santana did not turn around and go, and we hooked you up with this, and we hooked you up with that. It's a cracking episode of the vlog. It made me chuckle. So
it's ruined a lot of my jokes. I had jokes written down about Griff looking like Jungle Boy, and they did them all.
Yeah,
like I'm ruined.
My favourite bit of being the Elite was when Matt was walking past them in the queue, and one of them just looks at him and goes, "What are you, a Rhodes now?" And he's bleeding all over his face, and that just ruined me.
I missed that.
I missed that.
So moving on to Dark. Yet again, it was another long Dark. For me, my only note for it is too much wrestling, and I'll come back to that later. What did you guys think of Dark? And overall, what score did you give the show?
There's a character in the book Catch-22 that wants to live in awkward and slow situations so his life feels like it's dragging on longer, so he feels like he's alive longer. That's how this Dark started feeling to me by the end of it.
There's some good in it, but no, I'm with you. I got really excited by Taz and Excalibur because they are fucking
they are brilliant.
But I did decide to only rank matches I care about, just because it's so long. We had the ones, the Raptor messaged me about the moustache, the first jobbers.
Oh, their outfits were fantastically weren't they?
I don't know if that was a good match because they came in like the cushiony Legion of Doom pads, but with Freddy Krueger strikes on. But one's called Money, and they're about money. What is their theme? They're Freddy Krueger Legion of Doom rich boys.
No, the other one's called Sin.
Everybody tell me.
They're American
Vices.
American Vice or something like
Capital
that.
Vices.
Capital Vice. So yeah, Money and
just
Sin.
with a Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
All right. We like John Cruz. I reckon he'll be about for a bit. I don't remember if them. Oh no, I've got additional notes. There's just some drawings between them. Technically fine. I reckon they'll keep Cruz. I don't like Marco being able to own people like jobbers. I think it takes away from his fighting underdog coming back resilient thing. When he was actually kicking ass, I was like, I don't really care.
No, I hated it when he started kicking ass. I thought it was really... I don't think Jurassic Express make jobbers look very good when they're fighting them. I think they always, kind of just squash them. And it's just, I know, Marco could do that, and it's fine, but it's just you're trying to build up that you're this resilient underdog. And if you just go kicking people's asses, it loses all.
It's when he did a pop-up DDT thing on the massive guy, and I was like, I believe it when he's done Momentum and a variety of other things, but this guy is huge. You are but little. I mean, I know with suspense of disbelief and whatever, but, 100%. Marco did push it at the start with being the tiny man, and then he's grown, and when he's won us over with this scrappy underdog attitude and unbelievable resilience and using momentum moves and things I believe he could do, and then suddenly he was kicking ass, and I was like, I'd rather have him battered for a bit and come back and do some cool shit. But moving on. The best feud versus SCU. I love Avalon. What was it who shouted, "I looked up to you, man"? What was that it? Oh, that
was Avalon to Kazarian.
Yeah, that was it. After you dropped him. Solid, good match. I had a good time. I think Christopher Daniels hurt his leg at one point. But yeah, solid match. I enjoy everybody in that match. Everybody can wrestle. And I fucking love Peter Avalon.
That was my favourite match of the night.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. I remember saying to the Raptor is that it's obvious that lot are all friends because they were all on those the Elite episodes. It was SCU, Avalon, Brandon, and the Bucks, and the two jobbers.
Yeah, I hope we get to see them again. Team Extreme?
Yeah, something like that. No, it can't be Team Extreme.
That's somebody else.
That's the Hardy Boys.
That's the Hardy Boys. I know wrestling.
But there's something like that.
Welcome to... Moving on to the next match.
So Danny Jordan versus Big Swole.
Not a Nazi. She's not a Nazi. It's a burn book. She does not wish to burn books. I just didn't get the culture reference because I'm not American. Swole's sunglasses were badass. Danny's strikes need a bit of work, but her bully gimmick was actually showing a bit better. And the count of the pin was cool. It was a squash, but I like Swole more and more as we're seeing a bit more of her. So, squash, but we're learning her character.
Really like how much better the Dirty Dancing looks.
Yes,
I remember when it first came out and it was god awful.
We booed it.
Yeah, and now it looks great.
She's done Dirty Dancing. Boo!
Done the deed.
Man, I'm loving. I mean, I can imagine Morg is exceptionally excited about the sudden up in women's stuff this week.
I mean, it's,
I'm very excited.
That, though.
Yeah, it was an alright match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it got a bit more Swole's character across, and yeah. Moving on.
Oh, then we rolled into Bravalon. I love them. I love them so much. More of them.
So, David Ali versus Lance Archer squash match.
My first note is this match will only be judged on meters he's thrown. Yeah, that Ali has thrown. Then it's Jake's teeth were very white. I know he had them whitened, but Jesus, he walked out smiling like a Cheshire cat. I always give +1 for a random smashing. The one thing that I don't like squash matches, and I've ripped on them, and I've mocked them quite consistently. But Lance's squash matches feel better. Like he walks in, does some offense, no-sells some stuff intentionally, and the other guy always gets some counter offense for him. There's always even a little bit, and then he stomps him. He fucking annihilates him. It doesn't feel like he's just come in and had a quick wrestling match. I feel like I've watched a man be beaten. Also, he uses the same finisher I used in high school. Everybody die claw, or as in my name, the Mongolian head squeeze. Squash match, so meh, but I do like Lance. Anyone else care about that one? We're just skipping on to the next one.
But I just don't care. I liked it. It's fine, but I don't need to see Archer just squashing people. I know what he's about.
Yeah. Run, it's Musa and Dean versus Sonny and Janela, and Sonny and Janela let them have counter-offensive. Some moves went back into them. I got really excited. I don't remember much else about the match, but it wasn't great. Fine, bit short, but at least they're allowing counter-offensive now. It's not just them fucking coming out and doing a selection of overly planned moves into some people who do nothing in return.
Okay, with the next match, can someone explain to me Red Velvet's gimmick, please?
No.
No.
She's a cake, I think.
I always have.
She's from your mother's. She's from your mother's kitchen.
Well, Red Velvet is a kind of cake, and she's from your mother's kitchen. What I got from that was she's a cake. They said she is from your mother's kitchen.
Oh my god, she's a cake.
And she was doing like a hand stirring of a bowl action the whole time. I was just like, what is this?
Oh, fuck my life. That's immense. I love it.
So we have an alien, a dinosaur, and a cake.
Cake. Perfect.
So good.
Walk into a wrestling ring.
In all honesty, I was really happy to see Brandy back. I'm glad Ali was back in the ring. I liked Brandy doing the Rhodes uppercut. Brandy's got a lot better. There was some actually good storytelling. I cared about this match. I think this was my favourite match on the card, just because it introduced new people, told some story, and the wrestling was all right.
Yeah, I thought
you may be right there. The Dustin Rhodes slap got me a proper pop. I really did pop for it because I love it when Dusty does it. And the storytelling was fantastic in this match. And Ali has the best annoying shriek in wrestling, I think. She's just so annoying when she's just standing there, healing it up in the corner.
Ah!
Yeah.
Then it was Johnson versus Spears. Nice technical work. There was a weird neck hit at one point. I don't know. I don't know if new Spears with an actual serious gimmick is going to take away my.
That's when he joins the Four Horsemen, mate.
I know, but I miss he still sells in a goofy way, but I don't know. I think I might miss comedy twat Sean Spears. We're gonna have to watch this and see how my heart goes.
The problem is we love comedy twat heels, so anybody moving away from that gimmick's gonna hurt us. What did you think, Morg?
So this is, I think, where I started to get a bit wrestled out with Dark.
Yes. You still got 3 more matches, mate.
Yeah, and this is where I was starting to be a bit more. Okay, this is becoming a bit of a slog. There's nothing to break up the wrestling in Dark. That's why I wrote too much wrestling. It was just match after match after match
Yeah.
after match after match.
I see what you're saying. I get you. No, that's a very good point.
I think we
There's
can all
no-
say that the TNA days of only 6 minutes of wrestling in a like 1 hour wrestling show is too much, but you do need some storyline and
Yeah.
plot. Otherwise, it just becomes, oh, this is getting tiring.
Give me some promos from some of the new guys that you're signing. Do
Yeah.
a pineapple. Some of these, give these guys, these indie guys that you're bringing in to give them a job, give them a bit of a promo. Let me know something about their character before Lance Archer destroys them.
And
So,
going
okay.
on to, in better effect, how they did it in Dynamite, it's also a shock turn. If this guy's coming out giving a promo looking great, and then Archer just comes out and goes, "Nah, you're dead, mate." It's a great turn.
I'm gonna froth about that later,
Mate.
because we have the perfect example.
I know.
And I'm gonna roll us into Jobbers versus Dark Order, which was actually a good match.
Yes.
I've really missed Dark Order. I didn't even write Jobbers' names, sadly. My first comment is time for Dark Order to get their win numbers up.
Pearson Skyler.
Pearson Skyler. The match was actually good, and Dark Order are a phenomenal tag team, and I was happy to see them again.
I think they could make you and me look good in the ring, though, mate. I think they're fantastic.
Yes, mate.
But I do miss the creepers. I do miss the weird creeping part of the Dark Order thing. I didn't think I would, but I do miss the weird creepy perverts.
Brody came in and fired them all. What have you been doing, Uno? Hiring perverts? Stop it. Get rid of them. Then we roll into Griff versus Havoc. So before things are ruined by other people watching media, I'm gonna get all my Griff comments out. Firstly, I was surprised that Griff is a real name, because my little brother has a friend called Griff, and I always assumed it was like a nickname. But no, that's an actual name. We've got him down as the fake Razor Ramon of Jungle Boy. We've got him down as 98 Jungle Boy as well. It was an alright match, actually, not too one-sided. I'm pretty sure it will be removed soon, though. So I'm willing to skip on if nobody else has anything else to say about it.
I think we should just skip on.
I feel bad for Griff.
I think the Sammy vlog, I think he's got a future.
I think he'll make it. Yeah, I think he'll be part of the team soon enough.
Skylar Moore versus Ford. Skylar needs a gimmick. It wasn't very smooth.
Most of my comments about dogs during this match.
Dogs? Oh, yeah, because they had the dog there.
They had Oscar Sabian, the best part of Dark.
You and fucking dogs. Do you have anything to say about Skylar versus Ford, Morg?
It was a good match. I still like Ford. It wasn't one of her better matches. I was a little bit concerned about them having an animal at ringside, but I think being cuddled by Dad the entire time and kept well away from everything was the sensible way to do it. I'm not entirely convinced they needed to have the dog there. Don't have animals.
Don't work with dogs or children. You know?
Yeah,
exactly.
Children or animals.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't have them, but
don't have children. You heard it here, guys.
But it is a Pomeranian lap dog, so it is designed just to sit in someone's lap like that. So it's.
And I suppose without the big booming music,
yeah, it's not.
It's not Cody bringing a fucking husky down to ringside with pyros going off.
No, exactly. Anyway,
Anthony versus Sky. I was quite excited by this because Anthony's been shown to have quite high stats. They're definitely keeping him. It was a bit slow for me at the start. Anthony did this cool spinning back slam fucking thing, which I thought kicked ass. It picked up a lot during the middle towards the end from, obviously, Scorpio Sky's just a fucking machine. He's beautiful. But it was, yeah, good finish. A bit of a slow start for me, but everything was solid. I think they're going to keep that Anthony guy. He just needs a gimmick.
So overall, what score did you think Dark deserved?
a very low C.
A very low C. You can cut bits out and probably get a B out of it, if I'm honest.
Yes. But
if you watch it,
draining to watch.
If I was to recommend any of the selection to watch, if you didn't have much time, I'd obviously go Bravalon versus SCU,
and then the Ali and Brandy match. I would say.
Yeah, and those were both really good. You could probably throw in the Dark Order and stuff for just good match, but you're not going to get any like real storyline out of it other than Uno's back. Just bang my elbow. Sorry, guys. Carry on.
That's all right. So low C for Dark this week. Moving on, we move on to Dynamite. Dynamite opens with JR, Shivani and Excalibur on commentary. The first match, Kenny and Hangman versus the Natural Nightmares with Brandy for the Tag Team Championships, or as we like to call it, the right to face the best friends at Fyter Fest. Kenny and Hangman win with the last call. What did you both think of the match and what score did you give it?
Dustin did a Hurricanrana. I actually like that. That's a lot better than his Canadian Destroyer. There was a nice fucking set of counter breaks back and forth. Britt's note wheel made me laugh, but I don't think I can count that in the actual ranking of the match. There were more than a couple of wobbly dances that bug me. Oh no, I'm stood here for the big move. Then he did the Canadian Destroyer again. I'm being overly critical. It was a really solid match. There was enough story and I cared. And I think for me, that sits at a solid B. It's a Res 2. I had a few criticisms, but overall, I was happy. It sort of came out of nowhere. It didn't come out of nowhere, but it's been built weirdly. Go on, Muir.
I think that it was a really good match, to be fair. I really enjoyed it. I like the storytelling. I think Brandy's fantastic on the outside of the ring. You always see it given 110 out there. There was a lot of bleeping during this match from the commentators. Like, it'd been commentated. I don't know what happened, but...
Oh, no, yeah, you're right.
Now, this got mentioned by one of our regular question askers that he was watching this, and it was like, the only thing I could make out was that maybe there's some kind of auto bleep. This had also happened in Dark, I'd noticed.
Yes.
That maybe there's some kind of auto bleep, and anytime they used a word beginning with F that was blatantly not fuck, or something wrong, or maybe there's somebody in the crowd shouting something.
Yeah, that's what it must have been. Also, I was really...
EW and production issues.
They go hand in hand.
Name a more iconic duo. Carry on, Muir.
I really liked that QT pulled out the diamond cutter.
Yep.
So hopefully that story will end soon, with Ali stealing it.
I'm down with that.
But yeah, solid B for myself as well. Yourself, Morg?
A B. B.
Oh, wicked.
Really good match. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good fun. After the long, we watched Dynamite in 2 halves, which I'm interested if that skews my vision on it, but I don't on the whole. But after the Dark, I needed something like that, big fat. It's got Kenny in it, it's got Hangman in it, it's got Dustin in it, it's got QT in it. It's going to be a good match. I really like Brandy, and I think that Ali is brilliant in this heel role at the minute.
Yeah,
she's
awesome.
Moving on from that, we had an Anna Jay video promo. I didn't rank it. I don't know if you guys thought it was particularly good.
Generic baby face. Generic baby face.
Yeah, she's become a babyface. Anna Jay versus Abaddon. Abaddon wins by pinfall. Very quick match. I didn't want to give it a D, though.
No, I'm the same. As a moment, it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was going more towards the A ranking because I think that got everybody talking about and Google searching this one wrestler that appeared in this. So I think it's, I would say that it's a solid A, guys.
As a match, I expect more from my matches.
Of course.
As a moment of wrestling entrance, like the 80s, a horror effect that she had on her intro. Yeah. The fucking finisher is cool as shit. That low fucking Hurricanrana face slam thing. Britt's message of this broad needs Jesus.
That was beautiful.
It led into Anna Jay joining the Dark Order.
Yeah, I was going to come to that in a moment. Yeah.
We had a massive
joining the Dark Order.
Nah, she's going. Her boyfriend's there.
Who's her boyfriend?
Austin Vance.
Ah.
Which is why we wanted to, something we'll discuss later. Don't worry. As a match, if this was in any other situation, I'd probably have still given it a D for being a short, one-sided stomp. As a moment in the show and an entry and a mislead, I'm honestly tempted to give it an A as well. It's like a DA.
I'm happy to back you up on that because yes, I think what it was a very clever. We'd already seen Abaddon before against, and Hikaru Shida was. I mean, I remember thinking at the time Hikaru Shida was brilliant the way she sold it. Women are selling the gimmick. We've got a new women's wrestler with a fucking gimmick.
Yes,
yay!
Who has come straight in with a fucking gimmick.
Dark Order's probably getting a woman, something we said they should have.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So, yeah, at the end, Dark Order come out, give Colt what appears to be a contract, and then they help Anna Jay out of the ring. So we may see Anna Jay turn heel, and we may see their first female member. That, I think, is brilliant, because Dark Order should, more than anyone else, should be trying to control every single division.
Yeah, 100%.
So you've got... So they need, I think, 5 or 10 needs to be the one that heads towards challenging Cody. So because they've got their tag team, they've got 2 tag teams. They've got, then they have some, and then you've got Brody Lee, who's their top guy going for the main championship.
Now it'll be 5. Alan Angels had phenomenal matches with Phoenix and Kenny.
But sorry. I thought as an introduction to Abaddon, who you were not expecting to be the person they were introducing.
Oh no, they even get not even that. They did Anna Jay in action tonight, and every other time they've done this character in action, they've been against no-name jobber, and they've squashed them. They didn't even name Abaddon. It was like an extra fucking mislead from the social media team as well. Really clever.
Take that, Sparks.
The only thing I have a small, tiny issue with is because of the Dark Order's gimmick of we take people that lose, they had to take Anna Jay, but their name is the Dark Order, and for fuck's sake, why would they not want Abaddon?
Yeah, fair. Come with us, terrifying zombie woman.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to flip my page in my notes. So
yeah, it's all right. We'd best move on, or we're going to talk about this woman forever.
Yeah. So then we had MJF with Wardlow versus Billy Gunn with Colton and Austin Gunn. MJF wins using the diamond ring, which I think is hilarious. After that, there is a pull-apart brawl with Jurassic Express and MJF and Wardlow. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
Obviously some great comedy in here. I don't know if I went up with overly high expectations, like the handshake with just sportsmanship, pal. Billy coming back with him as over his shoulder. The camera crew did miss a few of like the Wardlow punches and cheeky bits. I think it was solid. Maybe it would have been better with a crowd of people to get more into the comedy. MJF always fucking sells like a rag doll and has a great time. Notice Billy Gunn shouted "eat shit" before he did the Faymaster, though. I think it was solid. I don't think. I think maybe I hoped for more, or maybe they didn't gel as well as they could have. I gave it a C, and then it went dubsy-dub, and I got excited.
I think my favourite thought of it was: does Billy Gunn had the highest constitution of anybody in AEW, or is it Darby Allin?
Ooh.
Who is the most indestructible?
Yeah. Because he took a lot of beat in this match. But yeah, it was solid. It was a good way to show that the old stars are still tough, but, you know, the young up-and-comers can still beat them, sort of thing. It was solid. I would have preferred Billy Gunn versus Wardlow, but that's me. But yeah.
I was hoping for a tag.
Yeah.
For a tornado tag of the two. Also, Colton is a terrible name. I'm sorry, Colton. I've never heard it before, and I had to check it was a real name. I'm sorry. I don't like it.
So things we have learned this week is that Colton and Griff are both real names. Yeah, I gave it a C. It's I've got to be honest, I like Billy Gunn, but for me, he was always the weakest link in DX. He's good,
nobody's favourite was Billy Gunn or the Road Dogg, were they? Let's be honest here.
Yeah, but
Well, my mate Tom in high school loved Road Dogg.
There's something wrong with him.
I like Road Dogg's promo work, which was something they joked about when they did a DX reunion, was like Billy Gunn was only allowed one line. Yeah, Billy's got a good look. He's obviously working wonders backstage, and he is phenomenal in the ring, and he did exactly what he needed to do in this. This was one of the best Billy Gunn matches I've seen, I have to admit, in a long time, other than his old tag team stuff with Road Dogg, when they were just the New Age Outlaws.
That thing is, I spell my name.
Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it. See across the board.
We're all on board this week. Everybody's on the same page.
Interesting. Next, we had a Sex Gods interview. Did you think it was worth a ranking?
I just wrote good, obviously.
Yeah.
It's getting to that level with them, let's be fair.
They're just solid. They know how to work it. They're doing it well. It's just good.
And then we had a Britt Baker interview. Did you rank this one?
Yes.
Go on, Muir. You're excited.
I just wanted to bring back that you did miss out the best part of the first match, where Britt was winching up little notes to Tony through the whole thing. It was beautiful.
Yes.
I mentioned the Abaddon one of This Broad Needs Jesus. Fucking made me
I love
cry.
The friendship timeout with Tony was just beautiful. As soon as he mentioned any other female wrestlers, she was just turned off. The where to Stephanie moment from like The Undertaker with Big Swole basically driving her away was fantastic also. I really enjoyed this. It was an A for me. But I'm a mark for Britt now.
I'm with Muir just because not only is it giving us good Brit, which we've now become accustomed to, if I'm honest, it gave us Swole character work, and the fact she just fucking set up and story. This show, in fact, the last two, this and Dark, have been really good for the women's after we've complained. Season 2 is really bringing it back around. Did you enjoy it, Morg?
I thought the ending was fucking hilarious. I thought Britt was awesome. I would only have given it probably a B, but when you team it up with the second half of it, is when it gets its A for me.
Yeah.
Which we'll come on to that in a bit. Well, I'm sure
we can rank those two together.
Yeah, that's what turned it into an A. Was the two together, because that gave it a full segment. I really enjoyed this. I thought, it's like you say, there was character work. We saw something from Swole, which gave her something a bit different, and it's a continuation of this other feud. Most importantly, it's not about the fucking championship. That's Shida's thing. You should be feuding amongst yourselves to get the position to have the right to face Shida, and I'm very happy with who is facing Shida. Very happy with it.
Just dragging in more characters into her storyline as well, which is the best thing it can do to just expand the other characters also. So yeah, it's just solid.
So then we had the TNT Open Challenge match, Cody versus a mystery opponent. Arn and Cody cut an in-ring promo, mainly Arn. Then we had a Ricky Starks promo. He's our mystery opponent. Cody versus Ricky Starks. Cody wins with the Crossroads. What did you think of the match, and what score did you give it?
Well, for first point, I really enjoyed the in-the-ring stuff of Cody saying, "Am I still in the Elite, the Nightmare Family?" I thought that was quite nice. Him and Arn always do like this little two-man stage show thing, and I like it. I was obviously, as Weird Indie Man, excited to see NWA, DDT, Ricky Stark show up. His intro music is kick-ass. Loads of really good wrestling. There was that brutal rope slam on Cody where he just fucking hammered him into it. The cheeky Arn help was cool. I did spot the headbang. Oh no, the headbang was in the first one. It was a face slam in this one. But there were just some brilliant sequences. Starks' spear is like a meteor. He might actually be able to rival Trent. And he didn't even look tired at the end of the match. Like, I looked at him, he just looked like he decided, it was time to lose and lay down. I was like, he's not even breathing that hard. The man's like a machine. It was just solid wrestling, really good wrestling. A B, probably only held back from an A by not being in like an interconnected story for me, if I'm honest.
Mr. Muir?
It was solid wrestling. You know, when you've got Cody in the ring, every match is going to be solid to good. I don't think he ever does a bad match generally. Him itching his face with 4 fingers is really awkward whenever he does it. I'm just going to put it out there. We know what's coming, mate. But you can't itch yourself with 4 fingers. Who itches themselves with 4 fingers? You know?
It says itch instead of
Jake
scratch.
Hager watches TV like he's on WWE.
No,
know,
I
the
was impressed because Jake Hager watched television properly. He
He
didn't.
was actually stood in front of it.
He was stood in front of it.
Yeah, he didn't have his body facing towards the show.
90-degree angle from the TV.
Yeah, but you've said everything. Stark's solid. You know, it's a solid B match. Yeah, I can't really say much more on it, to be honest.
Good.
Yeah, this was so at the end of this was when we finished our first nights watching. Yeah, it was a good match. B, I didn't know who Ricky Starks was. But yeah, again, I agree with you guys. I think it's Cody. Have we ever given a Cody match a C? We
Don't think so. Not in a long while.
Yeah, not in a long time.
3-star general.
Yeah.
He's just.
Come on.
Oh, I'd say he's above. I'd say he's actually a 4-star general.
Ooh, that's pushing it.
Well, if you look at our ranking, a 5-star match is an A.
Yeah.
Because an S is something that goes beyond
I should have written all
a
these
5-star match. And Cody nearly
maybe
gets a B. I would say he's a 4-star general. You are guaranteed a C. You are never going to get below a C. Yeah. But yeah, I think in actuality, Cody is actually a 4-star general.
Maybe so. Or he's at least our B rank champion.
He is our B rank champion.
So
it keeps the belt exciting as well, because now it's like, ooh, someone from the outside can come challenge for the belt. I know that it was always shown that would happen, said that would happen, but now it's shown. It's good to see.
Yeah, I particularly like that. So moving on from that, we had the Super Bad Squad with Penelope Ford versus the Young Bucks. Young Bucks win with a double knee strike. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
I feel a little bit sad now that I know that this is going. I didn't like their music anyway. I did like British lads giving the fingers. The hidden pliers were cool. Butcher and the Blade looked beautiful.
To pause when I was playing and spoil how the Butcher looked on this show for Strange before he got to I'm sorry, I don't normally do spoilers, but you have to see how he looks.
I want to give special shout out because he was wearing a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt.
Yeah.
He is a metal band, man.
I love their little white beanies.
Going on criticisms of the match, I've been hit by a wet floor sign multiple times and it doesn't hurt that much. In fact, we've all worked in kitchens. We're bound to have all been hit with wet floor signs.
Yes.
But things hurt more in wrestling and steel trays. And Matt ate a lot of shit, didn't he? Nick's long over-the-top sequences.
Nick's always got to come back, mate. It's always Matt that eats the shit so Nick can come in and feel good about himself.
Really picked up at the end. I did write, how dare they use a Kamigoye. Then it went a bit dubsy-dub. And we had the stereo-assisted pile driver moves. That's 2 now, Morg. You said that it wasn't going to be a permanent thing.
I think it is going to be their finisher. I think they're not.
No!
I think they're going to use the spiked pile driver.
No!
With current news, I was going to say it was a good build to the 4v4, but I don't know what they're going to do with this storyline now. So,
yeah.
I did turn around to the Raptor and go, so when FTR came in to make the save, well, I called that.
Yes, yes, you did.
You did. I'm liking FTR more. They're growing on me a bit. I think I need to see more of them actually like in action. They're another sort of Stone Coldy sort of gimmick, but with rules from what I can tell. You know, roam about and be the
think they're more like a mercenaries almost like guys who are just coming in for the paycheck. They're just here because they want to show off good wrestling and beat people up.
They still came out to stop dishonor from happening in the ring.
Yeah, true.
That's just because they're playing baby faces at the minute until their inevitable
The
turn.
Four Horsemen. Well, they're the tag team in the Four Horsemen with Cody and Shawn Spears.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Because all the old boys love them, so they would be giving them their seal of approval to be in the Four Horsemen.
Whose tag team finisher are they using again?
Yeah. I like
Cody.
that. Yeah, I like that. I did really enjoy this match. I enjoyed the beat on the end. As far as FTR goes, I think they're going to keep growing on you. Their gimmick is basically they're an old school. They are fists, not flips. So they're an old school style tag team. That is their gimmick. And Fists Not Flips was their comeback to FTR.
Yeah.
Going to be very angry when they meet Phoenix.
Oh, yes. And
what about Pac?
Shit.
So what score did you give the match?
I actually forgot to rank this, and now I feel bad ranking it. What did you give it?
I gave it a B. I thought it was solid, and it gave it good storytelling of building this story, which now in future circumstances, that story's going nowhere, but it was, good build at the time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, B+ from me. I actually had to put a plus because high B.
I'm going to give it a B as well then, because I forgot to rank it, and if I forgot to rank it, it's not an A, but I remember it being really good. Even though I only said negative things about it, that's because I know you guys get really excited about good things, so I have to pick on wrestlers who trip and stuff.
So after that, we had a Taz and Cage promo. Did you think it deserved a rank, or was it just a good promo?
I didn't rank it, but I've got some comments on it. Cage he has a friend-shaped face. I'm sorry, he's like New Broly in Dragon Ball Z. He's too smiley. His promo game isn't great. Like he stumbled a bit. He got all his words out. He stumbled a bit, but he's trying. But because he looks so friendly, I kind of let him off. Does anybody else get like that vibe from the program? Like it's not great, but he's trying. Look at him with his little.
Lord, he's out on his first muster, trying his best.
Yeah, with his massive body next to Dr. Robotnik.
I think that of the people that have a legend as a talker, Cage is the one that needs one the most. Although
definitely.
We know Cage can cut a promo. We've seen him cut good promos in Lucha Underground. I saw him
punched a man's head off.
Yes, he did punch a man's head off. I watched him in an indie match. He cut a great promo at the end about the flippy guys when Austin Aries then calls him out and goes, "Yeah, but if you were so great and big, then how come you just lost to Ricochet in this match?" But yes, I think of the three, the bunch of guys that have a manager,
definitely.
Cage is the one where it has been done right, and Taz has been on fire as a manager at the moment.
Taz is great.
I love the depression off between Kaz and Mox. It's really making the Mox grow on me. The depression off. No, I'm the saddest one of us two. It's beautiful.
Following that, we had a Mox promo. What did you think of the Mox promo? And again, did you give it a rank?
I think it was good. I don't think it was as good as some of his other stuff. It seemed to be a little bit more like lower and like darker as opposed to I'm a fucking crazy man.
Yeah.
So I didn't rank it. I just can't help but think that Taz and Cage are more face shaped than Moxley is.
Yeah.
And I really hope that I said this last week. I hope that when Cage is fighting Moxley and he goes to do the drill claw and Moxley gets out, he's ready, and he's like, "Aha. Fuck you, Cage. I'm Moxley, the baddest man ever." I hope Cage puts him in his... He was like, "Oh, I'll actually have to use my real finisher." What? Oh. The Weapon X. Because that's the only time I've seen a move with that much setup, which I believe that man is strong enough to literally tie me around him.
Yes.
Into that position. Sorry, I'm getting excited about Cage doing the Weapon X.
No, it's fine.
Solid.
But now we have to move to something that I'm excited about. The second half of the Brit promo.
So, right. So, yes, we had the second Brit Baker video segment. I think we've already agreed that this is an A overall. Go on, Mr. Muir.
Oh, I love this story. her just appearing out the fucking bin like Oscar the Grouch with her makeup looking like Alice Cooper with a banana skin on her head, saying she'd been in there for 6 hours. It's just so good. Her firing and rehiring Rebel because she couldn't get out the bin. Oh, it's just perfect story.
I love the you're fired. What? I'm free.
Yeah,
Yes.
free. I can't wait for her to be in a match because she's a wrestler, from what I understand.
Yeah, she is.
So that's blatantly coming at some point. There's so many possibilities and things going on with the women's division. If you said I'd say this 2 months ago, I'd have laughed at you. I'd have been like, ha ha ha.
I just must think it must be funny in Adam Cole's Brit's house. It's like, what did you do today, honey? Well, I defended the NXT champion belt. What did you do? I screamed in a bin.
Adam Cole going, I can't wait for my contract to end.
Has he still not re-signed?
I've not heard that he has.
Ooh, old. The evil power couple of AEW.
He's not going to be a heel if he turns up. Not straight away.
No chance.
So after that, Matt Hardy joins the commentary. We then have the Sex Gods versus Best Friends for the Best Friends tag title shot. The Best Friends win, and then Orange Cassidy comes out and beats down Jericho. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
I mean, I obviously love this. Did everyone else notice Sammy's actually learned the words to the intro song?
Yes.
It was less annoying this time.
I mean, it'd be better when he doesn't. I prefer it when he's making more of a mockery of it. But
it was too awful last time.
I don't know. I loved it.
Bad. Hated it. My top comment is Japan Trent is here. As we... the match was mostly Trent this time. Chucky didn't seem to get in that much, which obviously made me sad. One of my other comments is, if Matt Hardy tells me about Sammy's potential and the fact he needs to get him away from Jericho one more time, I'm going to scream.
No,
I appreciate what he was getting over.
I have to bring up here that the Raptor has decided that the match required is a ladder match between Chris Jericho and Matt Hardy for the custody of Sammy Guevara.
Mate, if they did that, I'd fucking piss my pants. I would be the most excited man on the planet.
It would be beautiful. Let's not get it wrong here.
I think go on.
I think it's a bit unfair on Tony Khan making, wrestlers do double duties even when they're injured, being the cameraman. I think it's a bit unfair, Don't they have a union or anything?
We all approve of how quickly Chucky T can pull off a Falcon Arrow, though.
Yes.
Like, there's no setup. He just goes, you're in a Falcon, and he's done the deed. Sorry, Morg, were you going to say something? I got excited about Falcon Arrows over here.
No. Carry on.
Trent sells like fuck. He always does that cool corner roll thing. He loves that. Trent has possibly the most hit points out of most AEW wrestlers. He's definitely up there with Pentagon.
Pentagon just resets his health points if he's away from combat for 5 seconds.
Yeah, he does go for a bit, but then even when the camera goes away, it comes back. It's like when you leave a zone in a computer game for too long and you come back and monsters have respawned. I obviously really enjoyed this, especially with the little after moment. Orange Cassidy's Superman punches the titties. I noticed the cameraman trip Sammy before it was meant. Sammy before it was mentioned.
That. Yeah.
And then I was like, has he just done like a botch or something? They're covering it. Then it played through. And I was like, whoa! So as normal, I've dropped it down a grade because it's a best friends match and I've only given it a B.
I gave it an A.
Kid, A it is.
I'm going to say there was something that I wanted to bring up. Oh no, it's gone. Doesn't matter.
Don't you have notes for this?
I do have notes for this, but it was gone. The thing I was going to say.
Some of this happens on the fly. What score did you give it, Mr. Muir?
I gave it a B because I always have to downrank best friends matches also because I love them.
So an A it is then.
Yes! At last. Actually, no, I think we've had an A before.
I'm just glad that best friends didn't lose because if they lost their title shot, I'd have been upset.
Yeah, I was worried at the moment, and I would have been annoyed if that had been the storyline. So overall, this week's Dynamite looking like a B to me.
We've got 3 A's, 3 B's, and a C. I reckon with the storytelling and the women's promos and stuff, we can probably give this episode an A. It was a really good episode.
I think
There
for
you
a whole
go.
episode with the continuous storytelling and the improvement of the women's angles, I think it's got to be given an A. They're giving us what we want.
You've got to give the people what they want.
You beat me to it. Yes, so
I'm always ready.
this week's Dynamite, we ranked an A, so we definitely think you should go and watch it. So that is the end of our reviews, Mr. Strange.
So this is normally where we'd roll into questions, but alas, for the first week in quite a few weeks, actually, we don't have any questions. So obviously we want them. It gives us a lot of discussion outside of our circle, lets us think about things, makes us sometimes puts us on the spot with things we're uncomfortable with or uninterested in or overly interested in. So if you've got any questions, please do send them through to wrestleopinionated@gmail.com. or Wrestle OP, or one word, on Facebook, where we can get them from there, or Wrestle space OP1 on Twitter, which
I don't know
will
if
get
there
me.
is- I don't know if there is a space in that. I may have written it wrong in the show notes.
Oh, God damn it, Morg. 1 second. I'll check on my phone. 1 second. If you're listening to us, this is me on my phone.
It's important content that we've got to give the people.
It's important. Not very good at Twitter. I'm still sort of learning.
Caveman, this phone.
WrestleOP1, all one word on Twitter. And if you comment in there, I actually check that like daily. So I will probably talk back to you and negotiate from there. So yeah, send through your questions. We enjoy having different things to talk about, possible bookings, all manner of different things. Send it through to those addresses.
Okay, I'm ready. Go on, guys.
We're ready. Right, so we don't have an angry rant for this week because, in all honesty, it's been quite difficult for me to get particularly angry about anything which is A, could be taken in a comedic light, B, I don't think we should rant about anything in light of all the terrible things that are happening. It would be belittling of actual important things. So instead, I have a challenge for Morg. This is the What Can Morg Book challenge. We've done several fantasy bookings, and Morg always wins because he's better at it than me and Muir now. So we had a talk, didn't we, Muir?
Yes, we did.
We had to give you 2 wrestlers to book, and we had a good think of who it could have been. Who are we going to give you, Morg? Because obviously we thought about CM Punk. Then we went, nah, not yet. He's not ready for that one yet. Give him time.
You think I haven't already got that one?
Exactly.
I put forward 98 Kane. I think my favourite suggestion to really make it hard for you was you have to book fake Razor Ramon and fake Diesel as legit characters. But we came down to fairness, didn't we? I came up with a woman's wrestler for you to book in. So the first one, the easier one. We decided to give you an easier one and a more challenging one. And your suggestion for the more challenging one is brilliant, if I'm honest. So from me, you get Taya Valkyrie.
Okay.
And from mine, it's Rey Mysterio Jr. But
however,
you have to book a good storyline where Dominic looks powerful and gets over with the crowd. Because we all know that Ray's only wrestling to put over his son at the moment, so you have to get his son over while booking it.
Okay.
And for this moment, we've prepared a small chat to give you 5 minutes to have a think. Your 5 minutes start now.
Okay.
I don't know. We've not done this before. Are you ready, Morg? Are you happy with the things you've got? Do you have any questions?
No. I'm quite happy.
He's going for it.
Right. So, Nick, recently we saw Anna Jay join the Dark Order, where we know her boyfriend, Preston Vance, is. We had a better idea for those two being together.
It was so disappointing to see the storyline be crushed like this. But I also think it could be a sleeper agent's job where she uses her magic to get 10 out to be...
They could pull it back.
Yes.
So originally we thought Anna Jay was an evil magician. Obviously, as we've seen from her current new promo, it's more of a showstopper thing. But I still think she looks like a stage magician. And I still think we can roll with this. Maybe she can learn some card tricks or something.
If they can give Matt Hardy teleportation powers, they can make her look like she has magic. Let's be honest here.
You're not wrong.
Right.
So our suggestion is Anna Jay, the stage magician. Now, what do stage magicians have, Nick?
Beautiful assistant, don't they?
And do we know any? I'm laughing at my own the shitness of this.
Yes, we do know a beautiful assistant that she could have.
Somebody she's close to. Maybe her boyfriend.
Maybe someone that currently has a dashing coat on.
Preston 10 Vance. This is what we think would be the superior story. We've always seen the magician with the beautiful assistant. We've seen, what's the famous English? Yeah, he is English, or is he Welsh? Paul Daniels and the beautiful Debbie McGee. Either way, the names come through. And we always know that the traditional wizard has a beautiful assistant whose job it is there to look beautiful. Why can't Preston Vance do this? Why not?
I mean, it would have been a great storyline, but I still think that they can sneak him out. She can rescue him from the Dark Order now with her wizard powers and get him back on track, you know?
He gives up wrestling to be a better person, but is still lurking around the ring like a 1980s valet reversed.
I mean, I would love to see that gimmick more, where it's just a shit-tier bloke that's out trying to help their girlfriend or whatever. Because, you know, it's always it's the buxom blonde coming out to help their wrestling mate.
Yeah,
why can't it just be some buff dude that's come out to help his girlfriend, you know?
Also, it can tie into the thing I really want, which is a buff dude who's the assistant who occasionally punches people and slams people, but isn't a wrestler in the company.
Yeah.
So when they're like, I challenge you to a match, he's like, sorry, mate, not a wrestler. Fuck you.
He's going to come beat you up.
He's going to come beat you up and hit you with a chair and shit. So yes, that's our alternative mid-tier booking of Anna Jay with her beautiful, massive assistant.
I've now got to try and beat this because that is awful. I've spent most of my time here laughing. Right, so I'm going to do the one I think's the easier book first, which is interesting because it's not the one you thought was easier.
Oh.
So what we need first is we need somebody who can go on an absolute rampage, and I'm going to pick Mr. Lance Archer. So Lance Archer is on his standard rampage. He is just destroying guys, absolutely destroying them. Every week he's throwing somebody out, and then one week he comes out and a figure flies out, and it's young Mr. Mysterio.
Ooh.
So yeah, Dominic is the one who comes flying out because they've been backstage. Maybe earlier on we've had a bit of a thing. So we've made a big thing about Ray coming to AEW because obviously that's quite important.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this on the fly. So Ray coming to AEW, there's no point in hiding it. This isn't one of those surprise.
No.
One of those surprise entrants that I quite like booking. So there's been a big thing about it, and it's Dominic who gets chucked out. Lance comes out for his match against, it doesn't matter, it can be another random jobber. Obviously, halfway through Lance's match, though, in fact, let's not have it against a random jobber. Let's have it against somebody important. So somebody like Babyface.
Phoenix.
No. So it's against Orange Cassidy.
Oh.
So Lance is going through the match, and then all of a sudden, coming flying out of the ring, but the ref's got his back turned because he's dealing with Jake Roberts, who's maybe laying the boot in on Dominic. Comes Ray. Ray slides into the ring, trips Lance, spin round, 619, puts Lance on his ass. Orange crawls over, covers Lance, at which point the ref turns around, sees it. 1, 2, 3. Orange Cassidy pins Lance Archer because of what Rey Mysterio did. Now, this puts Lance on absolute, total an utter absolute murder hawk. So any time that Ray is backstage and Dominic is getting destroyed, so we're building up lots and lots of sympathy for Dominic during this, and we're getting the crowd hopefully over with him. But at the same time, every now and again, we're going to get to see him get some fire back within this. So this goes on. Obviously, we're then going to have Lance Archer versus Rey Mysterio. That is going to be a fantastic match. It will be a chance for Lance Archer to show his stuff off against somebody who has a massive hit point bar for a small guy, and a guy who can do amazing comebacks. So it's fairly believable. We have seen Rey Mysterio through the years fight big guys, and he's
really good.
He is the guy who overcomes big guys. That is his thing. So obviously him and Lance have a really good, and I'm thinking possibly maybe our first match with those two, we actually have a 20-minute time limit, and we have a 20-minute draw, our second 20-minute draw.
Ooh.
It's good.
So Lance is now really, really pissed. So they have to have a rematch because it was a draw. And this time, the person who comes flying out at the beginning is not a member of backstage crew. This time it's Ray. And Lance is not fucking about. We continue on, and Lance this time starts destroy, and he puts him in the Everybody Dies claw, and he is just hammering Ray's head into the mat. Obviously, we've seen that Lance can actually do this really safely, so we know that Ray isn't going to actually get a concussion from it.
Yeah.
And we're working on that assumption that we know Lance is really safe, to the point that Dominic gets handed a towel by Jake Roberts and throws the towel in.
Oh!
Now, this immediately is nuclear heat for Dominic. And then we start seeing little backstage segments where just before Dominic goes in to apologize to his dad, he's talking to Jake. So you're getting this thing. This then, we can build this up for Dominic's inevitable heel turn on his father.
I fought for custody of you. Sorry.
Inevitable heel turn on his father, siding with Jake, who's actually going to give him the training and the positioning his father never did. We also now have the safety that if Dominic isn't a great talker, you've got Jake to talk for him. We then book it. Eventually, we will have Ray versus Dominic. Dominic will go over, possibly through screwy interference by Lance Archer.
That's actually really good. I didn't think you'd book Dominic as the heel. I thought you'd booked Dominic as like the leading poppy character eventually. I did not expect a heel turn. That's really solid. I love that.
Good
Fair play.
So now the harder one. Okay. Right, I've got it. So
another couple of minutes?
No. So this requires a face turn by a different team. So the Dark Order, with their new female sidekick, so 10, 5, and 6, whatever we're calling her, Anna Jay, are running roughshod, and somehow the people that they've got in their sights are the Hybrid 2. So we have the Hybrid 2.
Yeah, no, I see. Carry on.
I see where this is going, but let's carry on.
So the Hybrid 2, we'll have a babyface turn from them due to the Dark Order. I think we can build that up. We know they're flippy as hell. They can be really good cocky baby faces. We know Angelico is a fantastic baby face. And the problem they keep having all the time is the fact that whichever members of the Dark Order are out there, so whether it's Evil Uno and Grayson, or whether it's 5 and 10, or the other two whose name is just escaping me right now.
John Silver and Alex Reynolds.
Yes, Silver and Reynolds. Whichever ones they're facing, they're always actually cost the match by the interference of Anna Jay. So they have their one way to overcome this. And their one way is they're going to bring in some backup. and you just bring Tyre in that way. And you have the Tyre and the Hybrid 2, and we have another small faction, and they can then... Well, they probably can't go on. Okay, so we're in fantasy booking land where everything isn't terrible.
Oh, yep.
And we can then have the 3-way match, the 6-way tag match with Superbad Squad with Penelope versus Hybrid 2 and Tyre. And I think that will be a fantastic match, which can then lead on to Tyre and Penelope feuding, leading on to Tyre being able to set up to take the AEW Women's Championship when she's such a monster. And she's so
I reckon she'd make herself the queen of the Hybrid 2. I was going to leave this Queen Tyre with all of her fucking over extravagant shit on a big throne with the Hybrid 2.
Yes.
Amazing.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that. So there you go. That's my booking on the fly.
You've done well done, Morg.
Are you happy with it?
For that, Morg.
We are happy with you. It's going to get harder next time we have to do this. If I'm not angry next week, you're getting something awful.
I'm so sad it wasn't book 98K versus 98K.
That was our first idea. 98K versus Dr. Isaac Yankum. Son of a bitch.
That one is probably actually easier to do, other than the obvious
issue
problem. Yeah, obviously obvious issue. That one is probably easier to do. You can do that as a Faces of Mick Foley thing, and almost like a Faces of Matt Hardy thing.
Yeah, fair.
Where I bring in Modern Kane, having identity crisis between the three, and because you can just stick a mask on a big guy, Lance Archer could play 98 Kane.
Anybody could, yeah.
Lance has got the build and size. And you could have an identity crisis storyline. It would be a very self-contained storyline for one person.
It's all right, because everybody loves 98K, most powerful of the Kanes.
So now it's time for our weekly discussion, which I've just realised I've spelt wrong in the show notes. And this is a weird one. It was something we were discussing yesterday in our production meeting.
It's almost a little morbid.
Yeah, I want to be careful how I word this. So I've reworded it as minor, but it's are minor injuries actually good for fans/wrestlers? Now, this is taking into account the fact there's a lot of wrestling going on, there's a lot of exposure, and we don't mean anything that is in any way career ending, something that takes you out for a couple of months that you're going to completely heal from.
Yes, we wish no harm upon the talent we dedicate an hour and a half every Sunday to talking about. In fact, we want them to be healthier.
Yeah. So,
however,
it ain't ballet. Injuries do happen.
Well, I'll start with the easiest one from a few weeks ago. Not even the big one. We were slowly winning our way back around to Britt. We'd seen her do some good shit, and then she had a nosebleed in a match. I don't know if it was a broken nose or whatever.
Broken nose versus Shida.
It looked so badass with her like fucking looking crazy. It instantly went viral in the wrestling world. She got a T-shirt of it. Instantly, there was a pop for now we know she's like a manic heel asshole, basically. She got her nose broken. But did look badass. You know, that's a nice warm-up. There we are.
I think you can... Like, careers have been made on injuries. If you actually look back down on it. Like, if Nia Jax hadn't potatoed, Becky Lynch, would we ever have had the man? That's more of a Morg one.
Yeah.
But, would she ever develop into that character that wasn't just Charlotte Flair's shadow?
I think that she would have, but I think that was the moment that really sealed it. It was much. The Britt Baker one is a very similar situation. They're almost parallels. Both broken noses, both stood there, blood streaming down their faces. Britt looking crazy, Becky looking strong. Certainly, those kind of things I think do. There is
Britt's leg.
Britt's leg has led on to Britt being the funniest and we've got her character across.
Yeah. She's developing other wrestlers while out with
other people
Big
have
Swole.
to interact with her in a non-wrestling way, so Swole gets to kidnap her.
Yep.
And we're getting more. This is like a little bit more on the sort of. They had to bring in more female talent to push to
fill the gaps.
They've had to improvise, and they've improvised real fucking well.
Yeah. Go on, Mr.
But it also goes on the other side of overexposure. We always take the cheap shots at Charlotte Flair, but one of her comments was, "I'm always on there because I'm always there." And that's not a good thing. We don't want you to always be there. We want to get excited when you go away, and then come back. That's, as a wrestling fan, I love the big pop when someone returns. I'm going to pop like mad when I see Pac back,
I was about to say, I mean, so another way to look at it, if we don't want to look at it necessarily as injuries, is has the current situation, is that going to be good for a bunch of guys? And I think so, because I think that people are going to be, I think they need to be very careful when they do their first show with a crowd. Just use the guys you've been using now. Don't bring everybody back.
No, indeed.
Straight away.
Bleed them back in.
Everyone, feed them back. Everyone's going to be excited to be at a wrestling show. So everyone's getting a pop no matter what.
Yeah, 100%.
There's none of that. Guys are not getting a pop. And then you bring Death Triangle in. And
That's literally just wrote that down on my notes. I was like, Death Triangle. Yeah, I'll lose my pants. And that's 2.5. We've already seen Phoenix a bit back at the same time.
You all know it's going to be Death Square. Yuka's coming. You've got to believe.
Yeah, so when we see these people coming out, feeding back in, like the Hybrid 2, they're going to get a pop. So I think that going away for a bit, and also hopefully what AEW will do and will be sensible is all these guys that have had storylines and been getting their wins, give them a bit of time off.
No, that's not going to happen.
But it's a good way to not oversaturate. One of the problems WWE has is the oversaturated product, where you never get any chance to. And I kind of stole this. It's something that Adam Wilborn from What Culture mentions sometimes. He says the same thing. And it's kind of almost where I stole the idea for this discussion when I mentioned it to you guys yesterday.
Plagiarism?
A little bit.
I'm joking. It's all right.
He has mentioned it. He never wishes anyone an injury, but sometimes he thinks you do think it's actually it's not bad for you. If Cody got an injury, Matt and Nick being off television for a while was brilliant, and you had a storyline about it. And AEW seems to be very good at keeping people in the mind's eye when they've got an injury, putting a storyline in it. I know Nick's was, I believe, was actually paternity leave and was a fake injury.
Leave, yes. But on the other hand,
I was going to use Brian Cage as an example because he was meant to be with our AEW much earlier.
Yes, it was.
His bicep was kicked off by Rob Van Dam, and so that had to heal. And if he'd have come back earlier, because it would have been about the same point as Lance and Brody showing up, would we have cared for seeing another Juggernaut man show up at the same point as Brody? Brody was just before Lance?
Yes. Well, we would have, us three, but I don't think the wider audience would have cared.
I think personally, us three would have been much less interested in Brody Lee. I would have been less interested in Lance Archer.
Yeah, exactly. He'd have cost that, but actually being able to come out to this fancy ladder match and stuff gave him more of a pop. And I'm glad the man's healthy and his incredibly monstrous arms have healed. And I'm sorry, terrible things happened to him, and it probably hurt. But a lot more people are like, "Whoa, Cage!" than possibly if he'd walked in the middle of a Juggernaut season.
Yeah. We just need.
On the other hand, you've got people like Chris Statlander that's also injured, and we haven't seen anything from her apart from being on the AEW podcast. And, so is she going to get pushed? Is she going to have little bits? Because she needs them to keep, in people's mind's eye, I'd say.
They just need to take the old BTE sketches with the best friends. Sorry, Morg, I went straight over you there because they were in my mind.
You've got the other flip there, though, with Chris Statlander. You've got the other side of that, where she was over. She is over. She's going to be strongly over. The women's division is growing. She was one of the few characters in the women's division.
Just let her settle then, you think? Just leave her, because she'll get a pop when she comes back anyway.
Yes, she will get, but she will get a huge pop. She will be missed, and she's someone you can bring in for that surprise championship match against Penelope or Britt when they've taken the title off Shida. She's a baby face that can come in and get a pop without having to bring a baby face from outside. And if you bring in a baby face in from outside, you need to be stealing one of the 4 horsewomen if you want to get a massive pop. Use your homegrown one. That's going to give you the big pop.
That makes complete sense there.
Who are the 4 horsewomen?
Bailey, Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte.
I vote for Bailey and Sasha.
Oh, mate, I'd love to have Bailey.
Bailey.
Yes, mate.
That is the
little black-haired lass.
Yes, cool. Thank you.
She's real good.
Oh, or Sasha.
Sasha's also good, but I prefer Bailey.
All I know is Sasha's got mad Twitter game. That's all I know.
Yes, but Bailey really gets on with the...
Becky's got the best Twitter game.
I'm sick of Becky, though, sadly. Yeah. I can only watch so many people be a cool yet fiery winner who's great at everything and saying they're cool until I hate them. And I think if I saw her more in person, I'd probably start to dislike her more. Sorry.
No, Becky just has absolute top quality Twitter game.
Yeah, I'll have to have a poke.
But then you have Bailey, who's good friends with, the New Day and Big E. So we could get Big E as well.
Big E versus Brian Cage.
He'd love that.
That's too much meat. That's too much meat in one arena.
But I think we're getting a bit off topic here.
No, we're never off topic when we're talking about the New Day. Sorry.
Overall, as horrible as it is, an injury we think can actually not be as bad a thing as it might be, but a lot of it depends on the company you're working for.
Especially if you come back with the Kevin Nash fake cast up, so you can jump into a fight when somebody rips on your broken leg.
Or it could be like Finn Balor and you're just never seen again. You get injured once and that's it. You're gone.
Have they not been pushing Finn fucking Balor?
They didn't. As soon as he got the belt, Morg can tell this better than I can.
So he got the belt, got injured by Seth with the same move that he put Sting out with. It's not entirely Seth's fault, but it's the buckle bomb is not brilliant. Vince wanted to push him to the moon. He was going to be their top babyface, Finn was, and he completely lost. It's typical Vince. He then completely lost face to him because he was just another small guy that got injured.
Oh God! Oh God!
Finn's got his dream. Finn's back in his favorite wrestling promotion.
Is back in a
JPW.
No, I'm sorry to say, as much as NXT. Finn. He did not want to go up to the main roster.
Fair. I mean, and honestly, living in Japan's pretty difficult if you're not Japanese. Or you are Japanese.
I mean, probably NJPW. I think if you turned around and specifically said to him without him spinning a line, but at the time he was saying or suggesting in things that he wasn't that bothered about going up to the main roster because he was so happy with what they were doing in NXT. And at that time, that was when NXT was really on fire. It'll have another cycle. It'll come on fire again. They'll have a new set of tag teams will come up because NXT works on that kind of cycle.
The issue now, though, are NXT going to be able to get those stars when AEWs are calling? Maybe that's another discussion at some point.
I think.
I think a lot of independent stars are going to be a lot more dubious of WWE after they, fired everybody.
Yes.
It's not quite the comfortable only place you can go it's been for the last few years, is it?
No.
Yeah, and we know AEW are less interested in having old WWE stars. Cody has said that. They're much more interested in having new indie stars who are ready to make that next break. This is also good for New Japan as well.
Yep.
Because New Japan have, the chance of getting new stars over there. Ring of Honor NWA. There's a lot of places now that you can work and make money. Cody
NWA ain't looking so good currently, just saying.
Oh.
No.
Hashtag speaking out. They're not their owner, not the guy from Smashing Pumpkins, but their lead director.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Well, anyway, it's looking up across the board generally for wrestling for opportunities regarding that side of things.
Yes. I think that's an interesting conversation for future. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, we are Wrestle Opinionated. This is our weekly show. We hope you enjoyed it. We are Wrestle Opinionated on Spotify and Anchor.fm. We are also, once again, Wrestle Opinionated on YouTube.
Hooray!
I would like to say thanks to Anchor for hosting the podcast. Over to you, Mr. Muir.
If you could please send us in more stuff, we always love to have something to discuss, or we'll have to put Morg on the block more often and make him book things. So if you could please send us in anything to the normal addresses, if anyone can fill me in, because I haven't got them on my screen.
WrestleOpinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 on Twitter.
Wonderful. And I'd say good night from me, and thank you very much, and look after each other out there.
Right, me. Thank you very much for listening. We always do appreciate it. Please do share this with your friends, family, wrestling people you know, wrestling places you go to, your promotion. Share anything. Share it with your family. Share it with the friends. Share it with dogs. Smash that like.
Smash that like button.
I can't help but laugh when I do it. I'm not 15.
So funny.
Smash that like and subscribe button. Fucking just jam your face into the screen. But please do actually like, share, subscribe, do all the standard stuff. It really helps. It will get us to be spread. Hopefully more people will listen to us. And we like being listened to. That's why we do this. So thank you very much for your time. Have a good day. Back to Morg.
And all that's left to be said, goodbye and good night.